Today is exactly 1 month since the coup happened in Niger. It was 1 month ago on 26 July that the coup happened and the military took power in Niger. On the eve of this 1 month, yesterday, one major event happened. The Niger military administration has expelled the French ambassador from Niger, and it has given him 48 hours to leave the country. Hello, my name is Mahlet Ayele. I'm your host here at Connect Africa. Now, let's see why this statement came out from Niger, the expulsion of the Niger ambassador. The French ambassador. So the French ambassador, Ambassador Sylvain Ité, was expelled because he refused to meet the newly appointed foreign minister, or was it prime minister, of Niger. So he failed to meet him. He refused because he did not want to give a recognition totally for the military administration. Now, his move was also actually supported by the foreign ministry in France. France is in complete denial until now, failing to recognize the military administration in Niger. It still calls it junta. However, their Western allies, like the US, has also refused to call it coup leaders. We see here a contradiction. They don't want to call it coup leaders. They just simply call it military administration. But France is still rejecting to recognize the military administration of Niger, which by now actually metamorphosed itself to be the government of Niger, and it has been 1 month. Now, this expulsion of the ambassador of France from Niger is also preceded by previously when the ambassador was the ambassador of Niger, whose mission has been put to an end by the military administration. The foreign ministry came out and actually supported and stood in solidarity with Ambassador Aïhatou Bolama, who used to be the Niger ambassador in France. Because why? Because they said they don't want to recognize anything what this military administration is doing in Niger. Also, it's to be recalled that actually the Niger military administration has put an end to its ambassadors who were in the US, in France, in Nigeria, and in Togo. Because this was not for nothing. It's because they have been giving interviews and talking against what's happening in Niger or against the military government. Regardless, we have seen that the military government by now, it has been 1 month. Now, this expulsion of the ambassador of France, he has been given since yesterday, 48 hours. We will see what's going to happen. But the military administration came out and said, actually, we will not, we are not, we don't need any authorization from anyone, and we don't need any interpretation from the Vienna Convention of the 1961. So we do what they think is better for their own country. So if you ask me, what does that say, the Vienna Convention of the 1961? Actually, Article 9 says it gives the receiving state the right to notify the sending state that any member of the diplomatic staff is considered a person non grata at any time, including before arrival. After being notified, the sending state must either recall the member or terminate his or her functions. In the meantime, what we see is, as I told you, it has been now 1 month, and following the action that has been taken by the Niger military administration expelling the French ambassador, the Nigerians are out on the street, actually in the stadium. Once again, the rally is not for the first time. Millions of them showing their support for the military administration. So this has been going on today in celebrating the 1 month of the military administration in Niger. Just to remind you, there are three major things have happened in Niger since this military power took over. The first one is they have cut their ties, the relation between Niger and France, which is the military relation. This is one of the 11 colonial tax imposed on Western African countries that were ex-colonies of France. I mean, practically speaking, they are still a colonized country by France. The independence is just on paper, but Niger has decided to put an end to that. So that is what happened. The second thing that they did, the military power, since they took over, the military administration since they took over the power, is that they have also suspended the media outlets like which are sponsored by France, which is the France 24 and then FRI. This has been suspended by the Niger military administration. And the third one now, what we see is the expulsion of the French ambassador. Don't forget, this is not the first time that it happens, but the French there's something that they're doing at the back door, because the Malis have also, since the coup happened, have expelled the ambassador. The Burkina Faso has done it, but there was not so much of noise or failing to recognize the government. They just did, the ambassador left. But they are refusing again and again to recognize what the military administration is doing in Niger. Now, for how long will this continue? Whether the French ambassador continue in its refusal and don't leave the country, it's something that time will tell. The 48 hours is not yet. It's yesterday, this statement that came out. But from what we can see, the Nigerians are in full support of their government for now. And actually, all Africans, as we speak, particularly the Pan-Africans, and also mostly all Africans, are in support of what the people of Niger wants, meaning the military administration, who is trying to put an end to this continued colonization by France. So this actually has made, do not underestimate it, this support, platforms like this and others, who are speaking from anywhere that we are, it has made an impact, and it has made the ECOWAS, or shall we call it ECO of the US. It was one of my viewers here who commented like that. Yeah, it's basically they are echoing the US. But so ECOWAS is just confusing us, saying they have their standby force, they're going to do it in this time and that time, just buying time. But of course, what made them to hesitate is that the support that this military administration has, and the people, the Africans in general, globally being against of the military intervention in Niger. So this huge, you should not underestimate this. So in the meantime, I will ask you, does France have the right to reject the expulsion of its ambassador from Niger? If so, how and why? Give us your reasonings in the comment section. But for now, that was it for us. And thank you until we meet in the next session of one of our streamings. Tonight, again, we will have, so just tune in. Until then, bye-bye. Bye-bye.